Here in Germany, the cabinet has approved plans to authorize the military to shoot down any drones deemed to be suspicious. And this follows numerous drone sightings over critical military and industrial sites. Investigators believe they could be collecting information for possible acts of sabotage or terrorism, and Russia is the prime suspect.
The sightings have been many. The latest, 10 drones were seen flying over this military airfield in Manching, southern Germany, on Sunday evening. The pilots of the drones could not be found. Similar drone flights in Manching and a nearby military facility were already recorded in December, as were drone flights over the U.S. Air Force bases in Ramstein and Spangdahlem in western Germany. Unidentified drones were also spotted flying over the facilities of arms producer Rheinmetall and chemical company BASF. Investigators think the drone flights aim to record illegal images and to spy on industrial infrastructure and crucial military facilities, with the aim of planning possible acts of sabotage. The main suspect, Russia. So far, German security forces couldn't do much to stop the drone flights. The army is only allowed to force aircraft out of Germany's airspace, force them to land, or fire warning shots. Now, the German government wants to allow them to shoot down unmanned aircraft in dangerous situations. The military would be allowed to use surface-to-air defense systems or guided missiles shot from fighter jets, but only in case of a threat of catastrophic damage or if lives are at risk. The measure still needs to be approved by the German parliament.
Let's get more from our chief political editor, Michaela Küffner. Welcome, Michaela. Berlin seems to be taking this threat quite seriously.
Yes, and this is really the latest indicator that Europe, that Germany is arriving in a new reality, in a reality where the threats are very concrete, where Germany simply does not know who sent these drones. But I just want to quote Carsten Breuer, the Inspector General of the German Armed Services, the Bundeswehr, who said in relation to those sea cables, he said, well, who else than Russia should it be? And the same applies to those drone sightings. And it really is politics catching up with reality. Boris Pistorius, the defense minister here in Germany, time and time again, last time around in December, warned that there is a hybrid war essentially effectively going on with Russia, and that is where Germany is bracing itself for. Beyond those 100 billion it earmarked instantly for its own armed services after that attack by Russia on Ukraine.
OK, so we've seen these cables being cut in the Baltic, and that now these drones being flown over sensitive sites. What else is being seen as part of Russia's campaign of hybrid warfare?
Well, this is the thing. This cannot be directly linked to Russia yet, I would say. There is no direct evidence. And I'd actually raise the question whether there is a real interest in knowing exactly where the threat comes from. It's simply something that a country cannot tolerate, to not know who is spying on such critical infrastructure. There's also been 2 unexplained break-ins into military barracks in Cologne. What has been somewhat suspicious also is that these drone sightings have focused on facilities where Ukrainian soldiers are being trained. So there's bright red arrows pointing towards Russia, but there's no evidence. This wouldn't stand up in court, but that's really not the point. It is, again, a new reality for German policymakers as well, and that's why this will most likely be one of the last pieces of legislation going through Parliament before Germany goes to elections in February.
And a brief word about what Western governments are doing to counter these Russian threats.
Well, Germany has stopped short, for instance, of launching its own counter-attacks. I think it's safe to say that there's a lot going on in terms of spying that we're not aware of. What Germany doesn't do, it doesn't launch also when it comes to digital attacks. It doesn't launch its own counter-attacks. But that, too, is a debate that is now becoming increasingly acute here in Germany.
Thank you, Michaela. Michaela Kufner is DW's chief political editor.